Good morning. It's 9:02 and time for the Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller broadcasting from the 13 News Now studios in Norfolk, Virginia. We typically, with our over-the-air broadcast, serve Southeast Virginia and Northeast North Carolina, but through the 13 News Now Plus app, we have reach all across the region, across the country, and truly around the world. So thanks for finding us and spending some time with me on today's Weather Desk. We're going to be tackling the top weather headlines from around the region and across the country. We've got some pretty good stuff to talk about here. Severe weather, we had more of it over the weekend. You know, in Texas, they're still dealing with some stuff there. We'll talk about that. Areas in the southeast hit pretty hard, and there are more storms in the forecast. We'll show you who's next. I also have a tropical update. The Atlantic is quiet for now. We'll talk about the East Pacific, which is very active. I've got an update on the smoke from Canadian wildfires, and we're going to take a look back at meteorological spring and look ahead to what we typically experience in meteorological summer. So we have that changeover from spring to summer, June 1. So June, July, August, the summer months with meteorological summer. We'll talk about that. We're going to start off, though, by taking a look at areas that have been hit pretty hard. And as we look at the current radar, there's a large cluster of powerful storms working across central Texas. We also have more unsettled weather across parts of the southeast into the northern Gulf. And then we also have some wet weather scattered about the northeast U.S. And here through the mid-Atlantic, we've dealt with some showers and some heavier downpours at times earlier this morning. Look at how quiet it is out west across the upper Midwest. You know what the problem is there. They've got more of that Canadian smoke finding their way down behind that cold front, which is cutting across the Ohio River Valley. So here's what's up. Temperatures today are going to reach the mid-80s. Our normal high in Norfolk is right around 84 for this time of year. I expect 85, maybe 86 degrees this afternoon. We're just on the warm side of this frontal boundary. We have seen clouds. If we get just a little bit of sunshine peeking through, we may see some areas popping into the upper 80s or even 90 degrees, and that will destabilize the atmosphere, giving us a chance for a few more storms later today, and I'll talk more about that. Along this frontal boundary, unsettled weather for parts of the southeast, and again, here's this front that is going to drop through. Behind that, drier air for us tomorrow and into our Thursday. But there's also Canadian wildfire smoke that's kind of wafting down into the region behind that front. So a lot to break down. I want to start off, though, by talking about Texas and the fact they are still cleaning up after intense flooding that occurred over the weekend. Check this out. It's a look at the aftermath in Dallas. There were strong winds, heavy rain, and flooding to down power lines and trees and wash out the roads. Unfortunate, or I should say very fortunately, no injuries have been reported. And while power is expected to be fully restored, I know that's an inconvenience whenever you lose power. But again, while that's unfortunate, the fortunate thing is that there were no serious injuries reported, and we will look for the power to get restored down there today or tomorrow. Crews say it could take several weeks, though, to repair all of the damage from that heavy rain in Texas. All right, I also want to show you Georgia. They got slammed by severe weather over the weekend, and you can take a look at this tree that was down in New Smyrna about a half an hour or so, an hour north of Atlanta. This tree crashed into a home. Fortunately, no one was hurt. We heard from the homeowner yesterday, but it really just ties in to the rough weather that folks have been experiencing down across the south. So as we look back to Sunday, again, we've had clusters of showers and storms across Texas. You see some of this intense rainfall working across Texas, and as we look over across the southeast, very unsettled weather. It continues. You see some of the storm reports coming in over the past day or so, including a report of a tornado there. So again, it's been an active pattern. Things very quiet out to the west and across the north central U.S., but here on the East Coast and down through the southeast, we've had issues. Of course, you just saw that report of a funnel cloud there in Norfolk. I'm going to stop this for a second. Let's take this full for a second. Tim Pandagis, our chief meteorologist last night, was talking about that. And you can see as we went last night, I'll show you the report that came in on that funnel cloud here. Tim was doing cut-ins during the 6 o'clock to 6, or I should say 6:30 to 6:45 time period And you can see again, there was that report of a funnel cloud and possible tornado. As we take a look at that storm report, this was at the Chesapeake Airport. A train spotter reported, again, pictures of that funnel cloud. That was near US 17. And as Tim was analyzing that and taking a closer look on the air on our live broadcast, you could very clearly see the inbound and outbound rotation, and it was not rain wrapped. So again, this is the first time I've seen that actual storm report coming in, but we knew there was at least a funnel, if not a tornado, down in that area. And again, this did confirm train spotter reporting that funnel there near the Chesapeake Airport. So that was out close to Grassfield High School. All right, we're going to come back to what's going on right now, and we do have some more active weather. In fact, that's a new warning there down along the Georgia-South Carolina state line. So we'll take a closer look at that and zoom in, talk a little bit more about some of the warnings that are out there. There's also a thunderstorm warning in Texas as we zoom in. Let's go to this one here right along the Georgia, South Carolina state line there, very close to Savannah. I'll put some information up on it. You can see we do have the warnings that are in place, and we'll pull that up. Severe thunderstorm warning with a possible rotation. So we're going to watch that. It's all radar indicated. 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, a brand new warning just issued moments ago. I mean, this thing just popped up on the screen at 9:08 Eastern time. This does include Allendale, Fairfax, Hardeeville, and Suwanee. So those areas down along the Georgia and South Carolina state line under warnings right now with that cell. Pretty intense, that line moving along with possible circulation. So we'll continue to watch that. Back across Texas, I mentioned we also have this thunderstorm warning, and it looks like a pretty impressive cell right there near Center City, Pottsville, Texas, Castor, Carrollton, all of those communities dealing with that right now. And we'll put this one up just so you can get some information on this warning. This one will run until 9:30 as well. It was just issued a couple minutes ago, and that includes Adamsville, Evant, and Hamilton. So those areas in Texas dealing with that. You can see as I pull back out here, that's just off to the southwest of Dallas. So how about the severe weather outlook for today? Well, you see, as we go through the day, the severe weather threats down across the southeast, here through the mid-Atlantic. We haven't seen anything severe. In fact, I didn't even see any lightning really detected across our area with rain coming through early this morning on daybreak. There were a few lightning strikes detected down just off the Carolina coast, but nothing over land in our area. As we look down to the southeast, obviously more powerful storms right now. The potential is here that we could see some stronger storms later this afternoon. And then back across Texas, while they're dealing with the strong storms and that severe warning right now just off to the southwest of Dallas, that severe weather threat will push a little farther to the south. You'll notice a slight risk level 2 back across West Texas. We'll come back to that in a moment. I do want to give you the heads up. If you are watching from Southeast Virginia and Northeast North Carolina, a lot of our viewers here on 13 News Now Plus do live in this region. We are all under a level 1 threat if you are in the 13 News Now viewing area. All right, back to West Texas we go, because while they have that level 2 threat, they also have this first kind of tier, this level 1 elevated threat for tornadoes in this same area. And then as we take a little closer look, some of the communities involved, Sanderson, back over to Del Rio, Alpine, Valentine, some of these areas, all the way up to Carlsbad, New Mexico. So we do have the potential for maybe an isolated tornado. Also, I wanted to show, we switch over to the hail mode, these hashed areas, 2-inch or greater diameter hail potentially. Del City again, back to Carlsbad, Kermit, back down to areas south, Fort Stockton, Alpine, Sanderson, all these areas with the potential for larger hail down over West Texas. There is an elevated hail threat across Louisiana, southern Mississippi, and Alabama. You'll notice Hampton Roads not included in that hail threat here. We do have to watch for some stronger winds or outflow from storms that may develop in this area. But again, as we go back to the hail, it is not as great a threat here. We're more concerned with wind and that level 2 threat for stronger gusty winds down across West Texas and Southwest Texas. For tomorrow, we're good. things looking good along the eastern seaboard. Still, much of Texas under a level 1 threat. We've got an area across Iowa, southern Wisconsin, northern Illinois, all the way back through Iowa and then into the southeast corner of South Dakota, northeast Nebraska, back across Montana, northern Wyoming, southern Idaho, and Salt Lake City, Utah, right here. There's a Great Salt Lake. You go right into the valley between the Oquirrh Mountains and the Wasatch Range. You get the Salt Lake Valley in there, the high Uintas, these areas under this severe weather threat. It's a level 1, but it's something to see out there, so we'll continue to watch for that. Again, we don't see a tornadic real potential or elevated threat across the country. That's good for tomorrow, but large hail possible across Texas and across Iowa back into northern Illinois, not too far from Chicago. Also a threat of hail over eastern parts of Idaho back into western parts of Wyoming. So we'll watch that. Wind threat elevated across Texas, back across southern Montana and Idaho through Iowa, southern Wisconsin, and northern Illinois. For Thursday, severe weather threat still across Texas. They just can't buy a break. You'll see again from east Colorado across western Kansas through Nebraska, South Dakota, southern Minnesota, and northern Iowa. So that pretty much covers the severe weather outlook going forward. You'll see how the storms do continue to erupt across Texas. That batch works east. Another line, this is the one that brings that potential for large hail, maybe isolated tornadoes later this afternoon across West Texas. We're also going to look for some unsettled weather here into the mid-Atlantic, especially inland areas as we head into the early evening. Things may be a little quieter right along the coast, but we'll need to watch the radar. More storms down across Florida. Some unsettled weather out to the west as well. This kind of works through as we go through the evening. Big storms still firing up across parts of Texas, and we could see some stronger storms even tomorrow morning right along, or at least heavier downpours right there along the outer banks of North Carolina. So plenty for us to watch, and we will, of course, keep a close eye to things. All right, we're going to talk about what we are tracking in the tropics with this tropical update. And I want to show you, first of all, in the eastern part of the Gulf back into the western part of the Atlantic. These are areas that we do monitor this time of year. The entire Gulf pretty quiet right now. As we take a look down across the Caribbean, it is quiet as well. Across the entire Atlantic basin, we're still looking at some Saharan dust out that way. No tropical activity is expected over the coming 7 days. As we take a look, though, back into the eastern Pacific, and again, there's a depiction of the Saharan dust working across the Atlantic. As we take a look back out across the eastern portions of the Pacific, this is where it gets a little different. Let's take this full, and I want to talk to you about some video that we've gotten out of Mexico as we've been watching Barbara, and we've been tracking also Cosme, another storm, both of those off the coast. Check it out. Barbara became the first hurricane of the season in the Pacific, and then it weakened back to a tropical storm overnight. You see the impacts here on the west coast of Mexico. It brought very heavy rain, some gusty winds, and rough surf to the Acapulco beaches. Now, as we take a look at that video, it's pretty impressive. There's a look at Barbara. Again, it has weakened back to a tropical storm, and we can zoom in and take a closer look at the latest on this. This was the 5 o'clock advisory. It is going to continue to weaken. Winds down to 40 miles per hour later this afternoon, and then 30 as we head through the overnight. The other one, Cosme, out there, moving off right now to the west-northwest at about 5 miles per hour. It's expected to turn to the north and then the north-northeast, moving over some cooler water. Eventually, it's going to weaken a little bit. Right now, the maximum winds are at 70, gusting to 85. It's forecast to be down to 65 at the 2 o'clock time period. The forecast period by 2 a.m. tomorrow, down to 60. And then into Wednesday, it should become a remnant low or a tropical depression, continue to move off. So that will weaken before impacting land, but we will be keeping a close eye to that. Then we have another area out here, this one with a 70% chance of development, not too far from where Barbara was. So we do have these areas to keep a close eye to in the Pacific, and we will continue to do all of that for you, keeping a very close eye on that. All right, we're going to talk about the Canadian smoke. And I wanted to show you this map because the smoke is pretty dense as you take a look back across the northern parts of the country and into the Big Sky area. You get up into Montana and up into North Dakota. Again, the wildfires are up in Canada. That's where you see that really poor air quality with dense smoke up that way. But that smoke has been wafting down to the south, and we're seeing more smoke kind of filling in across parts of Minnesota and Iowa as well. As I put this forward into motion, you can see how that smoke is expected to track, and we could see some smoke increasing around here over the next couple of days here in the Mid-Atlantic. Our air quality is still pretty good right here in Hampton Roads. You see the areas in green, but look at all of these yellow dots depicting kind of moderate air quality. So already smoke, a bigger issue from Montana across the Dakotas, Minnesota over into Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Michigan, back across Pennsylvania. We've got that smoke out there, and it is contributing and creating some of these issues. All right, I just wanted to share that with you. We will, of course, keep a close eye on things, and we'll keep you updated with that. Time to turn our attention from meteorological spring to summer. As I mentioned, June 1st, meteorological summer began. Our chief meteorologist, Tim Pandages, has what we can expect in the coming months, and he looks back at meteorological spring.
Once again, the seasons are shifting, at least on the meteorological calendar. As of June 1st, meteorological spring has officially wrapped up, and meteorological summer is now underway. Spring 2025 brought plenty of noteworthy weather to the region. In fact, it will go down in the record books as Norfolk's second warmest meteorological spring on record. April 2025 stood out, ranking as the third warmest April ever recorded in Norfolk. And over the course of the spring, average temperatures consistently ran above normal, sometimes significantly so. Our seasonal average came in at 63.3, earning that #2 warmest spot in the record books. As for rainfall, we ended up near normal overall, with just a slight seasonal deficit, a relatively balanced spring in terms of precipitation. So what can we expect as we head into meteorological summer? Historically, our region experiences its hottest temperatures during July and August, with the all-time high of 105 set during this period. July also tends to be the month with the highest average high temperatures, typically around 90 degrees, and it's usually our wettest month of the year, too. In terms of daylight, summer brings our longest days. The earliest sunrises around 5:45 a.m. occur in early June to mid-June, while the latest sunsets around 8:28 grace our skies in late June and early July. This year's summer solstice falls on June 20th, giving us a full 14 hours and 41 minutes of daylight. So whether you're a fan of longer days, warm nights, or watching the thermometer climb, meteorological summer has arrived, and it's just getting started.
All right, and that summer solstice takes place in 10 days. So we'll look forward to that longest day of the year. Now, with today, even with some clouds out there, I wanted to pass along our UV index is still high. It's around a 7, I think it was 7.8 or 7.6. Bottom line is it's pretty high out there, and even with the clouds, you might be fooled. You look out there and think, oh, I don't need to worry about sunscreen. Only takes about 30 minutes before a sunburn will begin when you're in this range. So stay mindful of that. We'll take a live look over Norfolk with the Thompson Creek Window Company sky view. You can see the clouds here. I want to go ahead and switch this up. So let's take this full, and I'm going to go ahead and switch over to our oceanfront camera and check in on the surf before we get into the beach forecast. I can tell you there were already some folks that were starting to head out to enjoy the beaches. There's a look, and you can see some of the folks showing up. A little breezy right there, as you would expect. A lot of times we get that breeze coming in off the water, and those waves out there breaking generally 2 to 3 feet. At times we've seen the seas a little bit rougher. Again, this is the Thompson Creek Window Company sky view. They're checking out the Virginia Beach Fishing Pier. All right, more and more folks will be heading out to the beaches this afternoon as temperatures continue to warm up. We'll get into the beach forecast for you. At the airport, 78, winds are southwest now at 16 miles per hour. Generally, the surf height today, 2 to 3 feet. Water temperature, 73. It's really starting to warm up a little bit. The rip current threat is low, and the UV index, as I mentioned, is high. We're going to see mostly cloudy skies, but some breaks of sunshine peeking through the clouds as we get into the middle part of the day and the early afternoon. There is a slight chance for a shower storm late in the day, but we'll keep an eye to the radar. There may be some drier times as well. Now, I mentioned the rip current threat here in Virginia Beach is low. As we look off to the north from basically Wallops Island and around Chincoteague all the way up to Ocean City, you take a look at the Delaware coast, and then along the Jersey shore all the way up through Long Island and up towards Nantucket, you can see there is a moderate threat of rip currents. Down to the south, as we take a little closer look here, again, we're in good shape, but down towards Hatteras, this area is shaded in red from basically Hatteras down along Ocracoke, those south-facing beaches. There is a high risk of rip currents. So again, for most of our area here in Hampton Roads, we're not too concerned, but you go north, it's moderate. You go south of Hatteras and Ocracoke, there you'll find a higher threat of rip currents. Out on the water today, we have winds that are going to be a little gusty at times out on the Chesapeake Bay, up to about 20 knots, those gusts, generally southwest at 10 to 15. Waves 1 to 2 feet. For the ocean waters, the seas at times 3 to 4 feet, possibly to 5. Generally, the winds southwest at 10 to 15 knots. And our high tide at 9:22. We just passed it at Sewell's Point. Our low tide coming up at 3:12 this afternoon. Let's talk some more about what's coming up. Our summertime pattern has settled in. We've got warm conditions. It gets humid during the afternoon with that risk of a few stray showers or storms. We'll see more chances for this tomorrow. The chances for wet weather a little farther to the south, but you can see the humidity pretty high today, and tomorrow it drops down a little bit for Thursday and then builds into the weekend. Our chances for scattered wet weather return as well. As we take a look at the 7-day rain chances, again, we've already seen some wet weather. Additional isolated to scattered showers will be possible. Tomorrow, those isolated showers and storms mainly across North Carolina. Drier on Thursday, late Friday and Friday night, chances for isolated showers and storms, and then scattered as we get into Saturday and Sunday. And I don't think the Father's Day weekend's a washout. I do think there'll be opportunities for showers and storms. So you'll definitely want to keep that mobile app with you, have access to our radars when you're on the go, and stay in touch with our forecast updates. But don't change your plans yet. I plan personally, I'll be doing a little bit of camping out this weekend, kind of a staycation as I've got my kids coming in to visit over the Father's Day weekend, my wife and I. It's always fun. Our kids are grown and now live out away from us a little bit, but they all like to come in and get together. We're going to be doing that and plan on having a great time. We'll just need to watch that radar in case we get a few storms this weekend. Looking at the satellite, the radar images locally, we've got a few showers offshore now from the Outer Banks. Finally, the eastern shores dried out. We are dry across the metro area and most of the viewing area. So as we go along, that wet weather is out. We look ahead to the afternoon and say, okay, where are we going to get some showers? You see a little bit developing out to the west, still looking pretty good through 4:30 or 5 o'clock. As we head into the evening, we start to see some of these showers and storms lining up. It's possible we could see some showers or storms closer to the coast. But the models have really been trending a little bit slower with the arrival of some of the storms to the coast. They've been keeping them out to the west. So we're going to go with that for now. It looks like we'll see better chances for some showers and storms. And there is that risk. It's a marginal risk. But remember that level 1 threat for severe weather for parts of the area this evening. Overnight, we're looking pretty good. Chances for wet weather down to the south. We're going to be watching in here as we go through the day tomorrow for a few stray showers or storms. Most of the area looking pretty good. Thursday looks great as we go forward into Thursday, and then early Friday looking good as well. So I'm excited about that. It will get a lot warmer. All right, grass pollen is moderate. Tree pollen, not an issue. We also don't have any issues with weeds yet or mold, so that's all good. As we look at the highs today, look for mid to maybe upper 80s, 87 around downtown Norfolk. Airport probably right at 85. We'll see mid to upper 80s for inland areas, and that chance for a few stray showers or storms, some more clouds, maybe a little bit drier right at the coast. Looking up to the eastern shore, chances for wet weather there. We've already seen those showers. Chances for showers isolated late afternoon and evening off to the west. Down across North Carolina, mid-80s. And again, we've seen those showers just clearing the Outer Banks this morning. Additional stray showers or storms possible late. We'll keep an eye to the radar. Tonight's low down around 73. I showed you with our Futurecast those evening showers or storms. Fairly isolated, otherwise mostly cloudy. Southwest winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then tomorrow we're back up around 86, just a slight chance for an afternoon storm. Otherwise, mostly to partly sunny. I do think we'll see a little bit of activity down in northeast North Carolina, and then that slight chance up a little farther into southeast Virginia. Looking ahead, after a couple of days close to average, a couple degrees above there, we do bump up those temps for Thursday and Friday. We're talking upper 80s to near 90. Heading into the weekend, the chances for hit and miss, scattered showers and some thunderstorms. Father's Day, looks like temperatures are going to be close to 86 and then back to 84 on Monday. We might see some lingering isolated showers or storms. But other than that, it should be partly cloudy. And again, those temperatures getting back to average for early next week. Want to remind you, you can always get the latest news, the latest traffic and weather by using our 13 News Now mobile app. It's a great resource. Access to all of the radars and special coverage when we have severe weather like we did last night. That tornado warning, you'll get extended coverage pushed out through our mobile app as well. And of course, because you found us right here on 13 News Now Plus, you know this is a place where you're going to get special extended streaming weather coverage, and it's just another great resource for you. I'll also remind you that if you flip over on the bottom of the screen here at the 13 News Now Plus, you'll find our Weather Impact 24/7. Think of that as kind of a local weather source, round the clock, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. Satellite images, sky views. We drop in weather stories there as well. You also have the forecast with our Futurecast and all kinds of great weather information, always available right here at 13 News Now Plus. So do us a favor, tell your friends and maybe your coworkers about 13 News Now Plus. Folks are finding us more and more all the time. Viewership is really growing and taking off rapidly. We're excited about that. But the more folks that know about us, the more folks will know when severe weather strikes the area. And remember, this is always going to be here for you wherever you are, whenever you need it. All right, I want to thank you for joining us for today's Weather Desk. Again, it's today's top weather stories. I'm meteorologist Craig Moeller. I will see you again tomorrow morning.